Since the Sandbox fans, we are back. I hope everybody had a great start to week 1. If you're like me, then you probably missed 4 or 5 parlays by a leg or two, and you're questioning your thoughts on why the fuck did I put Tyler Conklin in my Monday night parlay.
Oh my God. You want to say he honestly. Like, he did the things that are going to get him the ball. Like, he threw the blocks that he needed to throw. It's just they couldn't scheme anyone other than Garrett Wilson open on one drive, and that was it. So it was just weird for the Jets.
Did you have any luck with the NFL?
I did. The NFL was the one parlay that I posted that we didn't win this week. So I hit the college football when we posted. I hit the UFC when we posted. I hit a bunch of props on UFC and college football.
Let's go.
Straight bets and stuff. NFL, I think I went down like a unit, but everything else on the weekend just put me I was way in the green, luckily.
Sure. Love that.
Missed the parlay by one leg that I posted, but I hit a couple other yardage ones and stuff like
tough.
that. So.
It's so tough. But also, let's keep in mind, you're not panicking on your fantasy teams just yet. You balled out on your DraftKings account because it was week 1 and we're all excited, but it's okay. Week 2.
You're never supposed to win in week 1.
If you do, that's a fucking plus.
If you do, you're up. You're up big.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about, we talked about the Steelers going in and getting that game against Atlanta. We called that pretty well.
Yeah.
And, it was just going to be one of those scrappy, tough, shitty games to watch, but they got the job done. And, Fields, again, doesn't look like this world beater at quarterback, but he looks like he's something that Pittsburgh can do, or someone that Pittsburgh can play with that they're going to, again, I can't really find a
figure it out.
zesty way to say that, but, dude, I don't know, man. Pittsburgh, they have the kind of player in Justin Fields where they can stall out, kick a couple field goals, score a touchdown here and there, and win games with defense. So I'm impressed with Pittsburgh right now.
And I just wish I was so vocal about Tennessee. They legit lost that game. They had it won and lost. And poor fucking Brian Callahan, I felt so bad for him. He's like, if we punted every time on first down, he's probably right. You know what I mean?
To hear that too.
Yeah.
If we punted every time, we would have won the game. That's tough.
But it was just, Caleb didn't win that game.
Nope. The Bears defense in special teams won the game except for Velus Jones.
Yeah, I know. But obviously, it was a tough start for the New York Giants, but big surprise out of New England. Now,
big surprise.
I'm going to let you elaborate on it, but I don't want, that's not my season expectation.
No, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? See you in January, Kansas City. But no, in all seriousness, I think that Bengals seemed like they weren't fully prepared.
You snuck one.
The Pats just played the right kind of football to win. They didn't make any mistakes. They went out there. They played hard-nosed football. They were disciplined. They ran it when they needed to. Jacoby converted the third downs that he had to. They made the field goals. Ramondre played well. They all
bro, I
did
told
their
you,
thing.
Keon White, bro.
He's legit as fuck.
Bro,
dude.
I told you, none of that Uche talk.
He played pretty decent too, but Keon White's dope.
Bro, yeah. But honestly, the best player on both sides of the football for the New England Patriots was Jabril Peppers.
He looks way thinner too,
bro.
He looks fast.
He's actually making me forget who Duggar is in that secondary,
bro. Legit. And the thing is, Duggar still played well. It's just Jabril played much better in coverage than he usually does. So the man coverage, he was much better because he was just a bigger guy last year. Where he'd just hit stick the running back,
for sure.
And he'd play in zone.
Wherever,
the man defense
nickel.
wasn't as good. This time it was really good.
Yeah,
so I don't know if they were just struggling in Cincinnati. I think there are going to be games like this where the Pats can win, or if they can score on you early and play good defense, they'll win those games. It's the teams that come out and punch them in the mouth right away, where they're going to be trying to claw back through the pass game. That's where they're going to run.
And then they're going to make mistakes. Yeah, absolutely, because that's not their forte. If they're playing with a lead, they can play that ball all day long.
And Seattle's the type of team. I don't think Seattle jumps out to a lead or anything crazy early, but I think they can score enough points where, the Pats playing smart football, they score 13, 14 points, but Seattle scores the 17, 19, 20. I think Seattle's going to get us this week, and I think it's because our defense is so well matched. We both have two of the, I would say, top 10 defenses in the league.
Statistically, Seattle had great numbers in player grades on both sides of the Boye Mafe, Charles Cross. Both performed top tier at the entire position throughout the NFL. But we're here for the fantasy rankings. Not going to elaborate on the Giants because I'm going to save you guys all a piss poor conversation to start this episode. But this is actually a little bit different. So for the past 4 years, we've been doing fantasy rankings a little bit more condensed and just kind of elaborating on the list. We have a bigger list, and we're going to elaborate on less guys, but just kind of talk about our rankings a little bit more, have some questions, some injury news, waiver wires, bets to talk about. Not too much on the kicker defensive front, but if you guys have questions on that, make sure to hit the text the show link or ask us your fantasy football questions in the description, and we'll answer all of those for you before Sunday.
Drop us a comment if Jake Moody won you your fucking league on Monday night.
God.
Dude, that's crazy.
Crazy.
26 points from a kicker, bro.
Hey, I was going against McCaffrey, all amped up. Mason got put in. I lost to Mason, bro.
No. Did he make your list this week?
He made the back end. He did make my list.
He made my list as well. We're both, we both talked about it earlier. We're both going to operate under the assumption McCaffrey's not playing this week.
Yes. And also keep in mind, for the now and for the rest of the season, when you hear fantasy rankings, with the exception of Thanksgiving, I will not be doing the Thursday games. So somebody already commented me real quick on Instagram. Like I just flashed this. So shout out to Connor Noonan because he was checking tabs. He was following up on the story and sent me a message. He's like, no Josh Allen on the list. I'm like, bro, I'm impressed that you can even read that because like I try and block it out. But yeah, you won't hear any Bills. You won't hear any Dolphins.
That's a lot of big names off the list. No Tyreek for you this week. No James Cook. No Allen. No Tua.
And let's keep in mind like the injuries. Like CMC's not going to be on here. Puka Nacua IR before he played a snap.
Jordan Love might not play this week.
Jordan Love,
even
MCL.
Things are looking apparently like they're much better than they were on Friday night, so that's a good thing to see.
That field was horrible,
That field is bad, dude. Yeah. I don't want to go back to Brazil.
Yeah. I don't want to go.
I don't think the players really fucking want to. You see A.J. Brown and Saquon trying to like keep it together after the game. Like, it's Saquon, not that bad. Man. I think it caught a bad rep.
Yeah. Love and Jake Ferguson have the same exact injury, that MCL sprain. I think 3-4 weeks, like they'll be on there. Mm-hmm. And honestly, depending on the severity, like maybe they could beat that. A little bit more of the quiet injury front. Romo Dunze.
Yeah.
That was an interesting one. Not that it made a difference in that game because Caleb couldn't complete a pass, but still, like long term, that's something to keep in mind. And then I want to talk about some waiver wires. Do you have some waiver guys that you want to talk about?
There are a couple guys. It depends on the size of your league here, but if you haven't drafted Romeo Doubs, you should. It may not look great this week, but this is somebody you should keep because Jordan Love, we've seen it's Jaden Reed, it's Romeo Doubs. Yeah. Those are the two guys they like to go to. They really tried to force it to Christian Watson. I don't have too much faith in his ability to catch the football necessarily because they forced it to him. He got his touchdown. Don't worry, he got his touchdown.
38 yards, yeah.
But, dude, he had a lot of opportunity for more. There were some drop passes, and I get it. He slipped sometimes, too. But there were some drops that were in his hand that I would have liked to seen him get. So, really think Romeo Doubs is the guy that people got to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Do you have another one?
Yeah, I got a couple here. First, I want to say, really impressed. This guy had a great week one. J.K. Dobbins.
Yep, good.
Looked really good. From everything we heard in the post-presser from Jim Harbaugh, like, they plan on featuring him. Mm-hmm. Him and Gus Edwards, they can be a tandem. Gus is going to have some games. J.K.'s going to have some games. But the fact that he was that productive on 10 carries, I feel like really shows you something. And Joe Walsh, man.
Dude.
Joe Walsh.
He almost got banged up bad. Did you see him hobbling one of those plays? I was like, oh no.
Yeah, but still locked it down against Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins.
Tyler Guyton looked good against Myles Garrett for a rookie.
Really good, bro. Really good. Isaiah Likely, obvious. Like, the tight end position absolutely sucked. It was horrible. If you have the opportunity to get Isaiah Likely or somebody that I put in the back end of my tight end rankings, we'll talk about him in a little bit. And then Jordan Mason, obviously. With the CMC news. Lazard and Brian Thomas, two guys that could be on the waivers depending on the size of your league. Two guys I think you're going to get right away. Brian Thomas actually made a very strong impression for me. And not that Lazard didn't, but like I feel like when Rodgers asked for his guy to come there, they need a second option. It can't just be Breece and Garrett Wilson up the entire field.
They featured him big time. So, again, if Aaron Rodgers likes to go to him, that's going to be a good play for them. But
absolutely.
Yeah, one thing that you called well, Zamir White had a pretty shit week. You looked that one right through, so that one looked good.
You had him ranked high.
I did. I thought he was going to be good. Don't worry, he's not in the rankings this week. So Vegas not looking good. You mentioned Likely. If you haven't had, Xavier Worthy definitely got drafted, but he should be in starting lineups at this point. Jaden Reed, another featured guy.
I will say those were not, like, you're not going to see those performances consistently from those guys. But that's the flash that they can really show you. I just think, hey, like, everyone got the tape on their speed and the skill set and the way that they're going to be using that offense. Teams are going to game plan for that.
Another guy I wanted to mention, though, Josh Reynolds.
Okay.
While it didn't look like they're targeting him.
Yeah.
They're 100% targeting him, and I don't anticipate he's going to have many harder matchups than Seattle that he had this week. So think they're going to target him, think they're going to feature him. He looks like the receiver that Bo Nix is really trying to go to, and he looks like he's going to catch some of those shorter routes that Sutton's not necessarily going for. So Josh Reynolds is another guy just to keep an eye out for.
Absolutely. All right. Start with the tight ends.
Okay.
A little bit different. I'm going to go quickly through my 10 to 6. 10, I'm going to put likely just because I do feel like Andrews is going to have like a growing role. Like they probably understand how much he overcame, like just going to car accident. Like lots been going on in this dude's life. You're talking about the past 6 years, major injury, cancer survivor, like it can tally up really quickly. Yeah. So I just feel like it was just kind of an off week, and that's not taking away anything from Isaiah Likely. I think that they'll both have roles. I just think that we saw a lot more of Isaiah Likely than we probably will on a consistent basis. 9, Pat Fryermuth, consistent tight end. He gets the targets. There's not too many guys performing well at this position. 8, this is a guy I want to elaborate on a little bit more, and I'm going to put him in here, especially with the Puka Nacua injury. Colby Parkinson.
Yep.
For the Rams, I mean, you saw him get targeted. He's a big outside target, can line up and can block, but I just feel like we saw Stafford kind of slinging him the ball, those little sidearm drops, and when you start to see him feel that way and get comfortable with him, and Kupp's not going to get 21 targets every single game, so someone's going to have to dice it up. Demarcus Robinson could be, a guy that could be, a potential waiver guy that you can get depending on your league. I think in 12, 14 leagues, that might be a little bit better. 7, Brock Bowers looked like a stud. Absolutely great. I expect him and Devontae Adams to be the forefront of that passing game, and I just expect them to play a little bit better. That offense, not those two guys specifically. 6, Evan Ingram. I mean, it was a shit week for most tight ends, but only having 1 point for a top 10 tight end isn't really enough, but there weren't too many guys that produced well. Kyle Pitts was actually at the top of the tight end rankings.
He got in the end zone, man.
It's all that mattered. It was that and 20 yards, but 8 points is enough to lead the tight ends at week 1.
More than enough. Love it. Steve, I fucked it up already and I did 7, but I got 3 in mind. Don't worry. So we're going to go with Mark Andrews at 10 because I think he's going to get involved, but I think Lamar loves his action with Isaiah Likely more so. Isaiah Likely, he's in the top half of this list. Colby Parkinson's a good one, but I'm going to go Tucker Kraft at 9. I liked his involvement. I can sneaky see him getting in the end zone with Malik Willis starting this week, using the tight ends. I don't think Musgrave's going to be the red zone target for them. I think it's going to be more Tucker Kraft when they're going to the tight end.
Won the job.
Yep. At 8, who's the guy that I hate? Evan Ingram at 8. So Evan Ingram, again, not a stellar performance. I think he's going to get the ball a lot more, though. And I think other than ETN, Brian Thomas, and Christian Kirk, he is the other guy there. Tank Bigsby, though, keep an eye out for him because he got action, kind of like he did week 1 last year. But
big difference if ETN falls in that end zone instead of fumbling, though.
Yeah.
For the game, for him, maybe Bigsby gets featured a little less, but
yeah. It was tough to see, but we're going at 7. Mine's Kittle here at 7. A lot of mouths in the offense, deserves to be on the list, but he's here at 7. 6, Travis Kelce against Cincinnati. Again, I don't think he is the feature of that offense at this point anymore. I think they want to get the ball to Rice more. I think they want to get it to Worthy. I think they want to get it to Pacheco. But Kelce's got to make this list. I got him here at 6.
Absolutely. I got him on the list. At 5, at 5 is where I have Kittle. I absolutely think you're right, but I do think that Jordan Mason, I don't want to say he won't have the success that he had this past week, but those are big numbers. 28 rushes, 140 yards. I don't expect that on a weekly basis, and that's why you'll see his positioning in the running back list. But I do expect Kittle to still continue to be a consistent part of that offense. He's probably a most checked down guy. I just think that with the CMC injury, it increases a guy's skill set like Debo to fit and get the ball, demands it a lot more, I should say. 4, Trey McBride. Bad performance, a lot of targets. Just think that was the way things worked out for Arizona, but still expect him to be a top 5 guy. 3 is where I have Pitts, Monday Night Football at Philly. Think that game could be sloppy, battle with the Birds on Monday night, week 2. I do think that we're going to see a better performance from Atlanta. Interested to see what Philly team shows up. 2 is where I have Laporta, and 1 is where I have Kelce. I just thought this entire tight end position was dog shit in week 1, and I'm going to kind of just filter to default at this point in time. A couple other guys I could have mentioned on this list, but I feel really good about these guys potentially bouncing back. And the only thing I kind of wish that I changed is maybe potentially putting Bowers a little bit higher on the list, honestly.
Yeah, Steve, that's good. And we got some similar names that were 1 through 10 here, but just different spots. At 5 is where I have Likely. I think they want to feature him in that offense a lot. I think he's
2 tight ends on the list from the same team.
2 tight ends from the same. And I just, again, I don't have, spoiler alert, I don't have a receiver from the Ravens in this list. I did not put Zay in this list.
I do.
You do? All right, look at that. It's because they're playing Vegas, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went with the 2 tight end approach. You will see Derrick Henry featured in this running back list at some point. 4 went Bowers. For a rookie's first game, love the volume that he got. And when it goes, he's as sure-handed as it gets.
Yeah.
You throw it, and it's a little bit of a shoestring catch, he's coming down with it. Like, he plucks the ball out of the air, he takes contact, and he holds onto the ball. I think he's going to be a very good, solid feature part of that offense for Gardner Minshew to check down to a lot. So
he'll likely be the best tight end in all of football this year.
He very well could be. You
see what I did there?
That's good. That's good.
It was okay. I shouldn't have had to say it. But.
So one of my buddies that I'm playing with, he had his team game like McGonkey Kong, and I saw it, and I have Bowers, and I'm Brock Bowser. So we fuck with that one a little bit. 3, I'm right there with you. I have Pitts. I think that just if he can get featured, I think he's a
number 2 option.
He's a matchup nightmare for Philly too. I don't think that Gardner Johnson's going to be able to cut. Like, I think he can stick on him, but I think if the ball goes in the air, Kyle Pitts is mossing him.
They did have good linebacker play from that dude Bond on Friday night, though. He sideline to sideline was making a name for himself. But we'll see what happens.
I think with the way the Falcons use Pitts, though, if they can use him deeper, I think he's going to run into some trouble, and I think he's just a matchup nightmare for some smaller safeties.
For sure.
So I got Pitts at 3, McBride at 2, went Laporte at 1. I just think he's going to be very involved in the offense, and he's going to get some red zone targets.
Absolutely. Before we go over to the quarterbacks, Twan, I want to know, what's your concern level on Puka Nacua?
4 weeks he's out.
At a minimum.
At a minimum. If I'm a fantasy owner, I'm concerned, depending on where he drafted him. If you got him in round 1 or 2, which is where he was going, you missed. Like, you missed to start the season, but I'm not panicking for week 8 on. I think when he comes back, he's going to be a very productive.
Really?
I think he's going to be very productive in that offense. I just don't think they're in this need to rush him in right now. I think they know, listen, we got a stud in Kupp. Kupp's always going to get open, but you're always going to sit there knowing that Kupp could get hurt. The other receiving options in that offense, Demarcus Robinson, while he gets action, he's not overly talented. Or I don't want to say he's not overly talented, but he's not teams aren't scheming to stop him. Yeah. Whereas I think teams would need to scheme to stop Puka Nacua. I have concerns because he's out. But when he comes back, I'm really not too concerned.
But here's my thing, right? Throughout the offseason, he dealt with this, and he didn't even play a single snap, and they shut him down. So I'm like, they were really pushing the limit to see what they could get away with. But a knee injury is not something I want to deal with season long.
Yeah.
I don't want to say to panic just yet. Maybe he gets on the practice field this week, and it's walkthrough type stuff, whatever. But if you can get something for Puka Nacua right now, I honestly think I would flip him.
What would you try and get for it? You're struggling at tight end, get some kind of a top 7, top 8 tight end. I don't know if you'll get that for Puka right now.
I don't know. I don't want to play around with that injury, and that's a team that's already missing 3 starting offensive linemen.
You gotta, I guess, take a look at your waiver wire, see if there's someone there, because you just stick Puka on the IR, which apparently people don't know how to use IR nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, I don't like these fucking rules written in ink and feathers, but is what it is.
One last question before we move over. We'll do the quarterbacks before we get to running backs and wide receivers. Did we sleep on Aaron Jones, or was it just the Giants? Or was it a little bit of both?
I think we slept on him a little bit. I'm going to be real. Again, the talent's always there, but dude, I literally bet on him under 64.5 rushing yards because I was the Giants have a good run defense, and I think they're going to run into problems this week. Nope. So maybe a little bit of both, but I think we slept on him a little bit. I don't want to say that I counted him out, but
he make your rankings this week?
He didn't make my rankings this week.
Oh,
maybe I'm sleeping on him again.
Yeah, you are. He's in my rankings.
What do they got, San Fran?
Yeah, it don't matter.
Yeah, okay.
Breece Hall had a good game yesterday.
He looked ugly for a while.
It did, but he got a lot of usage. Got in the end zone, caught the ball a lot. Yeah. He ended up having a better day than Garrett Wilson. He probably had the best fantasy day on the entire Jets team. Oh, Lazard.
Yeah, Lazard.
Yeah.
Lazard.
Cooked. He cooked. All right, quarterbacks. Phew, this is already a tough list. No Tua, no Josh Allen. Already stretching. 12-6 or 12-7. Starting off the list, Baker Mayfield absolutely deserves to be in here. 28 points in week 1. Electric. I love it, Baker. They featured McMillan. Bucky Irving proved himself. I mentioned that in bold predictions, and we already saw snippets of that in week 1. 11.
Bro, Tampa's still that team.
I'm sorry, but
they're good, dude.
Yeah,
they're really good.
I know.
Atlanta can still, like, it's one game. Atlanta can still take the division, but, like, dude, Tampa's not taking their foot off the gas, and Baker's literally better than Deshaun Watson.
Bro, Tampa's like probably a top 5 team in the NFC right now.
They're so good,
and they're just not getting like the hype because it's Todd Bowles, because it's Mayfield.
I love it, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Love it. 11, Jared Goff in the same game. Not that I think he's going to be poor, but I think this is just kind of speaking to what my thoughts were on the Lions offense, and it actually came to fruition. It's going to be a grown and improved offense. It's not going to be, a 15 Amon-Ra. It's not going to be a 10 Laporta. They'll have their games, but Jameson Williams, that's exploiting a mismatch, and that's improved decision-making. That's a better offense.
Bro, you know what I thought about is on Thursday night when when Nick had texted the group, he goes, dude, like, Xavier Worthy was everything Jameson Williams was supposed to be. Jameson Williams goes out Sunday. He's everything that Xavier Worthy was and a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And guess
so
what?
Good.
Jameson Williams made the rankings this week.
Love it. I fucking love it.
10, Brock Purdy. We need to stop disrespecting this man because he's actually that good.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Brock Purdy is going to get $60 million next offseason. Like, he's been one constant part of this entire 49ers run. Like, I know they had a trip with Jimmy G, like, years ago and whatever else, but with Christian McCaffrey, with Kittle missing time, with Debo missing time, with Ayuk missing time.
Plug and play someone, he'll make it work, dude.
One constant is Brock Purdy. And look, I get it. It's the Shanahan offense, but I'm sick of just saying it's Shanahan because this dude deserves some credit too.
Yep. 100%.
9, Aaron Rodgers. I think versus a different defense, he would have had a much better day. You saw that he was in control. He was the best player on the field when he was on the field, controlling the line of scrimmage, pissed off at piss poor drops. Of course he should be, because first down on the second drive of the game for Allen Lazard on third down, he catches that ball. It's a difference maker. Maybe they get a field goal there. Maybe the game stays a little bit closer. Maybe you don't have to throw like those long balls and things like that at later points in the game. 8 is where I have Jaden Daniels. I don't think he's going to run 16 times, but I think he's a given to run at least 7 times a game. And I think there's going to be a focal point to distribute the ball a little bit better to a McLaurin. You saw Eckler catch the ball a shit ton. B-Rob caught it a shit ton. And it's going to be interesting to see, who's going to be the other pass catcher. Is Ertz going to have a prominent role? Is Diami Brown actually going to be a guy that could potentially make rosters maybe post week 6 or so?
Dude, they look like they could use like a Jahan Dotson
type. Yeah.
Like, bro, what the fuck are they doing?
Idiot. And the Eagles didn't even use him.
They did fucking, yeah.
Yeah. And 7, Cannon. Absolute laser beam. And I could be disrespecting him at this positioning, but I actually think the opposing team is going to play them really tough, really well. Anthony Richardson here at 7.
Love it.
Bro, his arm, he might have the biggest arm in the entire NFL. Yep. I got you, Lou.
Dude, he's a fucking monster. So happy to have him.
That was a dime to Pierce, bro.
Dude. Dime.
Yeah.
And dude, like, he just escapes and he'll find someone. Like, it's crazy. And then good luck trying to tackle him when you're tired at the end of the game.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Holy shit. Steve, at my 12, we're going Stafford. I think that they get a point to prove against Arizona. I think he's going to throw for a lot. Might be a close game still, but I think he's going to put up points. So I'm going to go with Stafford at 12, Goff at 11. He just does it consistently. I expect to see Jared Goff in this top 12 all season long, just consistent. Anywhere from 16 to 20 points every week, dispersing the ball, throwing for 2 touchdowns. That's Jared Goff football. 10, right there with you, Purdy. Get this guy on a top 10 list. He deserves his respect. He does what he's got to do every single time he goes out there. 9, I got Dak. Now, we might call that a little bit low. I think that they're going to feature some running backs this week. I think that you're going to see a mix of Zeke, Dowdle, maybe a little bit of Cook in there. And I just think that you're going to see Dak throw for like 200 yards and like 2 touchdowns, which, again, I don't know that that's going to get him to the top 12. Don't know that's going to get him to the top like 8, but it could, but I'm going to go here at 9. 8, Baker. I don't know if it's recency bias, bro, but Baker's just out here cooking, dude. He is cooking. He was like the top 5 in passing yards this week. So Baker Mayfield lit it up. I expect him to do that to Detroit because looks like you can still kind of throw in Detroit for yards.
I think that I was. How do I want to say this? I don't want to say I was impressed, but there was improved play in the defensive backfield. But they still have a lot to learn.
They play better in the red zone. It's just when they play, like when there's a long stretch of field, like they can get thrown on for deep. So, again, it could just be Cooper Kupp being a fucking monster. But
yeah.
Then again, like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin played really, really well. Jalen McMillan caught a touchdown. Talk about rookie performances. Yeah. But Baker Mayfield at 8. And at 7, I'm a big fan of this guy. But the defense that they're playing is really tough. It's C.J. Stroud against Chicago.
Wow.
Chicago's defense is fucking legit as shit, dude.
No,
and like we can shit on Eberflus as much as you want. As far as defensive-minded coaching, he's good.
No, he's good. Honestly, I was more impressed with the special teams.
Yep.
I really was. I mean, two defensive special team touchdowns, that changes the game. And I don't want to say Caleb needed to be bailed out, but they weren't going to win that game on offense. They weren't.
They're 1-0, and it has nothing to do with Caleb Williams.
And that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. So that's a step in the right direction for them. 6 is where I have Kyler Murray. Think Kyler is going to have. All right. Let's say this probably. I think Arizona is going to win this game.
Love it.
I think Arizona is going to win this game. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a big reason why I think. After the quiet game of MHJ, he's going to have 7 catches, $120, get in the end zone. James Conner looked really good. Will we talk about him on the list? We might. But yeah, we might.
Just sprinkle it a little bit.
But no, I know that the way the game went with Buffalo wasn't probably how they wanted to go because they were up a decent amount, but you're playing one of the best teams in the AFC. You better come to play. Right. But it goes to show you that they can put up points probably versus anybody because Bills' defense did end up playing pretty solid towards the end there. 5 is where I have Mahomes versus Cincy. I'm still expecting the Bengals to have their early season struggles. I think Cincy will end up losing this game. I think Mahomes will have great distribution throughout. I think it's a big Pacheco game. 4 is where I have Dak. I think they're going to, I think they're going to 40-piece the Saints.
Hey, you think they rout the Saints? I'd love that.
I think everyone's going to think, oh, shit, the spread's 6. The Saints are going to cover that. They just put up 40 points. No, you just played the worst football team that might have ever been assembled since, like, the 2009 Lions. And now you're going to play against, I don't want to say a team that's, like...
Last year's number 1 scoring offense.
A consistent top team in the NFC, right? And everybody went in, Cleveland's going to beat them at home. They don't play well on the road. Well, like, they dominated. And it don't matter who's on the field as long as Dak is. Like, they're going to win regular season football games.
Sick of the Dak slander, by the way.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking good. Dude, listening to people already talk about, like, yeah, but when they get to the playoffs, they won't do anything.
I don't want to hear it,
like,
yeah.
Dude, come on.
I don't want to hear it. Dak's a legit quarterback in this league. 3 is where I have Hurts. Still saw the rushing ability was legit, but I think it's just... I mean, he has so many weapons, bro.
They're everywhere. We want to talk about Purdy being bailed out by weapons, bro.
Yeah.
Hurts can't fuck up.
Saquon, Smith, Brown, Goddard, Dotson himself. Like, it's crazy. So I have him here, and I think he distributes it really well. 2 is where I have Stroud. I feel opposite of you, honestly. I do think it's a good defense, but I don't think that the Bears defense is going to bail them out week in and week out. I think that the Bears are going to play more of a legitimate football team, and I think C.J. Stroud's got a little brother to his boy. I really do. I think that they're going to win by 2 touchdowns.
You think it's a good thing or bad thing that Diggs got 2 touchdowns right off the bat?
I think it impressed a lot of us because I don't think that we thought that was going to be the case. I thought he was very vocal on the sidelines, and I don't want to say I didn't expect that, but it was like, guy, it's week 1. Like, what are we doing? But, maybe that's just, like, what works for him. And
maybe it's firing him up. Like,
yeah,
maybe he's getting himself, like, fired up because I can see him being that, like, red zone threat where he gets his one-on-one, he shakes a guy off the line, he catches touchdowns.
Bro, Odell would literally headbutt a fucking kicking net, and then he would go and catch a 70-yard slant for a touchdown. So I'm like,
by all means.
Bro, these wide receivers are tapped, but, whatever scores, I think Stroud has a big game, and, Nico Collins is going to finish the season top 3 in receiving yards
Dude,
this year.
That catch was so, like the fucking, 50, 60-yard catch?
55,
so
bro. So good. And one is going to be Lamar. I think the Raiders defense is good, but not enough to contain this dude. And I think that we're going to see a better performance than we saw from him than in week 1.
Bro, I was about to be like, where's Josh Allen? I forgot.
Come
Guys, on. He doesn't do Thursday games, but I do. At 6, I got Anthony Richardson. So one spot ahead of you.
Sorry, if I did do Thursdays, I would have put Tua in the list too. Just saying.
Yeah, Tua 13. Like, again, Thursday game.
Yeah.
We only do them when it counts for me.
Anthony Richardson.
6 at Anthony Richardson. This guy's just an absolute threat no matter where he is in the field. The long ball ability, the ability to rush the football, score rushing and passing touchdowns. 5, Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to put up fucking points on the Giants. I'm sorry. I think he's going to rush for a touchdown. I think he's going to throw for a pair of touchdowns. I think he's going to have a good performance. 4, I got Lamar. While I do think he's going to have a good performance, but I think they're going to go up nice and early, and they're just going to cruise that lead with a Gus Edwards, Derrick Henry type approach, slow game. This game might end up being like a 27-7 type game, so I can just see points hindering them there. I think Jalen Hurts is a big performance against Atlanta at 3. I think Pat Mahomes is going to light up the field against Cincy, and I got Josh Allen at 1. I just think
2
at 1. 2's Mahomes.
Okay.
3's Hurts. 4's Jackson. 5's Daniels. 6's Richardson.
Okay. I was waiting. I thought you were gonna show a little too much love on the quarterbacks this week. I thought you were gonna put Gomez's guy Joe Burrow on the list.
Not until they show me something. He just still doesn't look comfortable.
Hold up, because I was dying to laugh, and I'm in the middle of entering some orders for work and shit like that, and I get a voice message from Gomes, and he was like, you know what, Steve? The past couple fantasy seasons, I've listened to you. You helped me out. He was like, I listened to you this year. I've been listening to a lot of Sense of the Sandbox. He goes, you told me to trust Terry McLaurin. He's like, you told me. He's like, you told me to play DK Metcalf. He's like, you know what, Steve? They better improve before I find another. I'm like, Gomes, chill out, bro. Chill out. It's all good. It's all gonna work out. Just week 1, just the jitters. But no Burrow in the rankings. They struggle early in the season. People are asking me about like Jamar Chase. I'm not worried at all. Like he's gonna have a slow week 1 and week 2, and then he'll have 35 points 3 weeks in a row. So it's like.
But this is where like we talked about this in the offseason. This is where I'm like, dude, Zach Taylor is like the number 15 ranked coach in the NFL. He doesn't. I just think he's an overrated coach, bro. It's got to change. Like, he's got to go out there and find a way to win games against a team in the New England Patriots with a rookie coach that has struggled on offense. You got to find a way to win games when you have a top 5 receiver on your team, when you have a top 5 quarterback in terms of pure skill on your team. Yeah. Got to find a way to win those games, and they just didn't.
For sure. All right. Running backs or wide receivers next?
Let's go backs. We love finishing with wide receivers.
For sure. All right, so 3 backs that just missed the list, but I still feel like very solid options. Tony Pollard performed really well. Zach Moss and Chase Brown. I think both of those guys are going to, as the Bengals improve, I think their roles will continue to improve. But, I sent you the number now.
Bro, I'm looking at this. I'm like, dude, I did 5 short again.
No. Yeah. It's all good. Because like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're just changing up the format. But I don't feel like we've been giving enough to the people. So I just want to make sure that.
More. Yeah. I'll shoot from the hip for a couple. Fuck it. Hold on, I got this. Let me pull out my phone.
So we're going to go 20-11 and then 10-1. 20, B-Rob. I don't think B-Rob's gotten enough love. And we saw he can catch the ball. We saw that he can rush the ball. Going against the New York Giants, I absolutely think he could continue to...
Tough guy to tackle.
Yeah, absolutely is. 19 is where I have Jordan Mason. I mean, he played well. Expect him to run well through the 49ers offensive line. He didn't look like that rushing the ball last year when there were a couple of hiccups throughout the lineup. But he looked really good. And if you're a McCaffrey owner, that's someone that you're going to play instead of McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. 18, J.K. Dobbins cracking the list. I don't know if that's someone that would make your rankings, but going against Carolina and a team that's going to love to run the football, get me more. Like, I want all of it. 17, James Conner going against the Rams, got in the end zone, caught the ball, stayed on the field. Probably was the best offensive player on the field for the Cardinals going against the Bills last week. 16, Mondre. Didn't think I'd be talking about Mondre in the Week 2 fantasy football rankings. Going against Seattle, I do think it's going to be a much tougher defense to run the ball against, especially knowing like the defense that they have. They'll put all of their corners one-on-one with the pass receivers and just say, beat us, and stack the box. They're going to, and I just think like that's going to put a big stress level on Jacoby, and I think that might be the difference in the game. They're both going to be defensively sound.
Dude, that game, Whatever the over-under is, just take the under. That
Yeah.
game screams like 13-6.
I think it's 38.
Yeah, I still like the under.
Yeah.
That's a little high.
No, I know. I know. 15 is where I have Monty. Showed he can still be productive regardless of Gibbs being on the field, in the role, all of that. 14, Aaron Jones. I don't care that he's going against Seattle. I don't. I think JJ's going to get open. I think O'Connell schemes the field better than anybody else I've ever seen to this point in my lifetime. I really feel like that. I think he's going to be set up for success, and I think he's going to get in the end zone again. 13, Rachaad White against Detroit. I am a little bit concerned as a Rachaad White owner about Bucky Irving, but at the same time, like, they put up, 37 points? Like, of course the backup running back's going to see some ball.
And Rachaad White, they go to in third down situations, too.
He catches the ball a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that's a difference maker. If they can move the sticks, Mike still looks good, bro.
Dude, I know we talked about him yapping like last offseason. We're like, dude, he's talking a lot. He better hold up. First of all, he did last year. Dude, I love his energy on the field this year, too.
Absolutely.
He's just like all fired up to be there,
Absolutely. Reminds me of a little bit of that wrecking ball we used to see back in the day. Was it, playing the Falcons. Was it Monty Ball? No.
Michael Turner?
Michael Turner, yeah,
dude. Oh.
Who am I thinking? Monty Ball. He was drafted by what? The Broncos, right? He was a decent round pick too.
I can't even tell you who Monty Ball is.
Yeah, no, that's all. He clearly. Yeah. 12, Josh Jacobs. I think that Green Bay is going to forcibly run the football against Indy and then set up the play action. And I think it's going to be the team that stays more disciplined is going to win. I think the Colts are going to be hungry for a win after the game last week. I think the Packers are going to be underestimated, and it's the first game of the season where we're going to see a backup quarterback, assuming that you don't consider the Fields-like scenario a backup quarterback. And every single time, everyone takes the opposite team. I'm going for my pocket in this one. I have Green Bay to win the game. I'll take the points. I have a bet that I'm going to share with you guys a little bit later in the episode, but I'm really excited about it. And 11, right before I dish it off to you, Jahmyr Gibbs. Not too far from Monty, though, and I just think, like, that's the draft value I talk about. Like, Monty's already in the top 15 running backs, and you talk about 6-7 rounds later. That's not saying that, Gibbs disappointed for his draft position. He played well week 1, but just goes to show you, like, if you appreciate the value, then you understand our logic on that subject,
Yep. Love it. So 20-16 are off the rip here, but I'm going to do Monty at 20. Again, you're right. He showed he can be effective no matter how much they give Gibbs the ball because, let's be real, like, they can pass the ball, but they're a run-first offense.
Yeah.
So I'm going Monty. Then I'm going to go Jerome Ford. I think that they're going to need to make sure that Deshaun Watson's not throwing the ball over 35 times.
How short is that leash, bro?
Dude, I'm already done with it. Like, they paid him so much, so they're trying to hold on to it. But, like, dude, if I'm a Browns fan, I'm like, get this fucking guy out of my city.
I think he has, like, 2 more games, and if they play like that, like,
done. Bounced.
Even if it's not Jameis, put DTR in there, bro.
Literally any other option. Go find a quarterback. Get rid of Deshaun Watson, dude.
Yeah.
Like, even get him out of your locker room. Cut him. Like,
eat the money.
Dude, eat it. You have to at this point. If you're going to move on, you got to move on.
And imagine they could have had Baker.
Yeah. They literally could have. But Baker wouldn't have been Baker unless he, I think, went to anywhere other than Cleveland. So.
Yeah, I mean, how many years did he have with Stefanski? Just 1?
I think he had his 4-year contract.
Did he? Baker?
Oh, you're saying with Stefanski.
Baker,
so
yeah.
He had one with Huey Jackson, and what was
Bro,
it?
he had a couple of different coaches, I'm almost positive. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying it could have just been the back end.
Did Stefanski have Odell? Because didn't he have Odell for 2 years? Or he played for 2 years. He had Odell for his first year, and then Odell was gone the next year.
We'll have to get back to it.
We'll look that up. But I went 20 Monty. I went 19 Jerome Ford. 18 I'm going Najee Harris.
No Najee, no Ford.
I think that, again, I think it's coming. Like, I saw a couple runs from Najee that I think he's about to hit that.
He definitely looks more aggressive.
Dude, I think he's going to hit that Derrick Henry stride. And I feel like the pressure's off. People aren't like, Najee Harris. Rah, rah, rah. People are like, oh, if he works, he works. And I think that helps him a lot mentally. I'm going Rachaad White at 17. Always going to be a feature. And at 16, Josh Jacobs against Indy. Think that Josh Jacobs is going to have a very high commanding role with Malik Willis as their quarterback this week. So it could end up being Love, but I'm going to lean that at least for this week, it'll be Malik. Jordan Love may be back quicker than we all thought, though.
I absolutely agree.
15, I do have Dobbins in here, so this is where we're getting to the numbers.
You had Dobbins above a lot of those guys.
Dude, I've drafted Dobbins knowing he's going to get hurt every fucking year. So I'm going to give Dobbins his love here at 15, especially against Carolina. Dude,
Yeah.
give me that. Give me that. And Jim Harbaugh wanted to run the ball. Then I'm going Brian Robinson against the New York Giants.
Oh, I love the position.
Yeah,
Love
14. I think he scores 2 touchdowns.
Don't
passing,
care it's
a
against
catching.
the Giants.
Yeah, again. So I'm not even going to say sorry. You already know it's
Yeah,
coming.
don't apologize, please. I apologize for being a Giants fan on this show right now.
Well, 13, ETN. I think ETN's going to have a good week. Nothing crazy. I think he dropped 17 points. Good week. There at
Bro,
13.
ETN would have been RB1 if he got in the end zone and didn't fumble there.
I know. It's
Big
tough,
difference.
though, because then again, like, you see the volume go to Tank Bigsby. He gets 12 for 73. It's like, dude, he's getting almost 6 yards a carry, or a little more than 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
He's going to get some more volume. Mixon at 12, having one of the biggest fantasy weeks at the running back position. He looks really fucking good, that offense, and it's almost like people forgot that Houston can run the football. So you got
Well,
Mixon.
they have the line to run the football. They just didn't have the talent to.
Exactly.
And Singletary was just like enough last year.
He was doing it.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
you have Mixon going in there, new team, feels comfortable. It's not all Joe Mixon, so I think he's going to thrive in this offense. 11, Kyron Williams. I think Kyron's going to have a good game against Arizona, but like I said earlier, I think the passing game is going to get featured a lot in
A
Arizona.
little low. He could be featured in the passing game.
He could be featured in the passing game.
Come on,
But
24.
you'll see. When we get to receivers, you'll see. You'll see, fellas.
No,
So that-
you'll see, buddy. You'll
Come on,
see.
Just wait for it, all right?
No, you wait for
We got something brewing, buddy, all right? Puka on the IR, number 1 anyway.
Oh my God, that's not what I have brewing. Twan's turning himself into Kev on the show right
Yeah,
now.
no, I know, literally. Dude, someone's got to take it over. Speaking of, I got a real scent while I'm digging for pics from Kev, so sharing some fucked up shit on Instagram. Shout out, Kev.
You finish it up at 11.
I did. That's Kyron.
Oh, okay, all right. Kyron at 11. 10's where I have Mixon. Think he's gonna like what we saw on Sunday is what we're gonna get from Mixon all year long, and he's not really somebody that dealt with like a lot of injuries and always had that top tier talent. So whatever offensive game Houston wants to play, he can play. Catch the ball, run the ball, be patient, be aggressive. He could do all of that.
He's seasoned enough. He can pick up on pass protection. Like
Absolutely. 9, Kenneth Walker. Going against New England, I think he's going to eat it up. I know that there was like an abdomen injury, not something that I felt like great about, but I do feel like the game was kind of in the bag at that point in time, and it was just like, hey, shopping it. Go ahead. Get yourself a touchdown,
I know.
pal. You know what I mean?
what do you catch the wheel route right around the back?
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Nice.
No, it did. It looked really good. But no, Kenneth Walker, I think from his performance, as long as he's on the field, he's a top 10 running back inside this league. And I told you guys, that's a great value at the running back position. At 8, Isaiah Pacheco going against Cincy. You heard me elaborate on that a little bit. Pacheco looked good. He looked aggressive. He looks consistent. He's going to be himself, and it's a great offensive line to run behind. 7 is where I have D-Hen, and I like the spot because I think he gets in the end zone, but I don't think, like, I think we heard John Harbaugh, imitate it. He's not going to get the ball 30 times a game rushing the ball. He's going to get it 14 to 18 times, depending on how the game's going, depending on where they're having success. I think Justice Hill is a guy that needs to be picked up in all fantasy formats, whether you own Derrick Henry or not. I put a big fat bid on him this morning. That'll process tomorrow or Thursday, whatever the case is for your own leagues and stuff like that. But I think he's going to touch the ball 10 times a game, very similar to the backfield that we saw from Atlanta. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? A couple years ago, Tevin Coleman.
Yeah.
Bro, he was a consistent fantasy guy as a backup running back because of his impact in the game. Who was he splitting time with, Tevin Coleman, at that point in time?
It wasn't Gurley yet.
It was before
Devonta
Gurley.
Freeman.
Yeah, it was. Okay, we're throwing it back.
There we go. We got it.
At 6, this is where I have JT. Think he gets in the end zone. Then gets rough, tough yards to get on the ground, but I think he doesn't, and we didn't see a lot of JT week 1, so I think we're going to see that week 2. 5 is Kyron. I think Kyron can really be that guy, and I think he's going to pick up some of the slack in the passing game. You didn't see Corum. I'm not threatened by Ronnie Rivers taking away from his production, so maybe, I was wrong on Kyron Williams. I did not draft Kyron in a single of my fantasy leagues this year. 4, Travis Etienne going against Cleveland. Think he gets in the end zone. Think he gets 15 touches consistently. And he honestly looked like the best playmaker for the Jaguars. I know you want to say Bigsby and things like that, but I think he's going to just get eased into, a workload a little bit more. I think this was very similar to the beginning of last year.
I hope so, buddy. I got him in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, no, same. 3, I have Bijan in the same game. 2, I have Saquon Barkley. Man, guys, it hurts. It hurts. and no pun intended with the Eagles, but it's just like, bro, like, this dude had 3 touchdowns. We threw a touchdown to the other team. Like, that hurts, guys. We suck.
He looked so happy in Philly, dude. It's like...
Bro, you know the worst... I mean, the whale route he caught was pretty, bro.
Dude,
and got the feet down. Crazy. Fuck, I forget what I was just going to say. It's all good. One, Brees going against Tennessee.
Okay.
Bro, he really... I mean, not that Saquon or Bijan couldn't be it, but I feel like Brees is going to get featured. And I like Tennessee's defense, but his ability to do both, I think, is going to be the difference.
Yeah, we get similar names, different places. Going back-to-back with 2 names that aren't on your list, though, because Thursday night game. 10, I got Achane. I think he gets involved in the passing and rushing game. James Cook, also think that he looks good when he runs the football, man. All he needs is another touchdown and he's in there. Like, he looks really good, so I think he's going to be a big feature, especially against a Miami team that is going to struggle to stop the run game. I'm going with Cook here at 9, Achane at 10, 8 Gibbs. So, again, not top 5 because of the Monty threat, but I still think that he has a better chance against a team like Tampa because I think Montgomery's going up the A-gap. I think everything that Gibbs runs is going to be going to the outside, and I think that's where you can beat the Tampa defense. 7, Jordan Mason. I don't think McCaffrey's playing. I don't think it matters that much. I still think Jordan Mason is very good. They're getting what they need out of him. And we see whenever San Fran wants to plug a running back in, it just fucking works.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Jordan Mason at 7. Low for where you had him. I got Brees Hall at 6. Maybe I was so high on the Jets that now that really kicked me in the nuts last night. So I'm going with Brees Hall at 6. Again, I think he gets actively involved. I just don't know that Jets versus Titans is a game that I'm going to see a lot of points in next week. D-Hen at 5. I agree that I don't think he's getting 30. Like, they said it, right? He's not getting 30 touches a game, but I think he's going to be there every time they're in the red zone just to show him that option look.
4 times at the goal line, bro. Like, it might be more effective than a tush push.
Seriously. He's an absolute dynamite player, and he looks comfortable in Baltimore, even though they lost. 4 is at Saquon. 3, because I need a little bit of a hot take in there, I got Isaiah Pacheco at 3, Steve.
Wow.
I think Pacheco is going to be able to run the ball against Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati showed us that the run defense looks weak right now. Don't know if it was just a week 1 thing, but it didn't look good. I thought last year you could run the ball against Cincy. Same thing's happening this year, and I think we're going to see some angry runs from Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh.
Got him here at 3. JT at 2. Jonathan Taylor.
Love it.
Monster. Bijan Robinson at 1. Now, Kenneth Walker isn't in here. I actually don't know if he's going to play. That's where I'm like...
Really?
Yeah.
Are you concerned?
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you?
A little bit. Every year, dude, he gets hurt, and you're like, oh, he should play, and then he doesn't play that week. The same thing happened a couple times last year.
Yeah.
I also see them going against a New England defense, which is very hard hitting, and really likes to stop the rush.
What a fucking homer!
Hold on. Now, not to say that would keep him out of the list, pairing that with the fact that I really don't know how confident I am that he's going to play. Played it safer than sorry. Left him off the list. If he's going to play, though, he's at 10 for me. I don't think I'm putting him top 5 against New England, but he's at 10 for me.
So he's not on the list, but if he was, he's in these.
No, if he's
this is some Kev shit.
I'm gonna stick to I don't know that he'll play. He's not even in my starting lineups in fantasy right now. I don't know if he'll play.
My God,
I really don't.
Wide receivers, couple guys off the list. Still think you could trust these guys. McLaurin, Reed, Worthy, Pickens. McLaurin, I just want to see it. I'm still starting him in leagues. I'm starting him over Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk didn't make the list. Still feel confident about him. Starting off the list at 20. Jameson Williams talks about it. Enough to make the list. The fantasy production was good. I think he had 6 receptions for over 100. Got in the end zone, so you love to see that. And I do feel like he could have probably gave us a little bit more too. So
they needed a deep threat too. Like, that's kind of what they were missing, and they have it. Like, we knew that they had it. He showed it.
Absolutely.
Pardon me while I dig for 20 to 16.
Yeah, this guy. 19 is where I have Devontae Adams going against Baltimore. I think that once the Raiders get a little bit more settled, that Adams and Bowers are going to be guys that are going to continue to produce and make that offense go. 18 is where I have Zay. Zay's going to kill it. I think, like, we saw enough. He's going to be involved in many different facets of that passing game, intermediate, medium, deep, handoffs, like whatever the case may be. So I have a lot of trust and faith in Zay. 17 is where I have DK. lower than where I would have wanted to have him, but I think Gonzo played really well. I do. I do think he's going to get to a point where someone's going to get open for Seattle, and I actually feel like it could be a big JSN game. I just kind of feel like this kind of scripts up properly to that, because if you put like a nickel guy on him, he's going to torch.
And I just think Gonzo's like good enough to cover DK to make him not be a top 20 receiver.
Yeah, well, he could be. Yeah.
He could be.
16 is where I have Rice. I mean, I think he was, a focal part of that offense, and, all off the field issues aside, I mean, he looks ready to play football and produce. So that's what we're doing here. We're doing rankings. I'm not a news reporter. I'm not a meteorologist. No, I'm not none of that. 15 is where I have Olave. Was a little disappointed that Rashid Shaheed is still the guy getting the bombs there, but
dude, insane.
It's crazy. It really is, but I still have to trust Olave to be that guy. 14, Stephon Diggs.
Like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs in here. It's not for the yardage. He's going to be a touchdown guy. If you're going to, Nico Collins is going to get you down the field, and then Dell and Diggs are going to catch the touchdowns. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for whoever drafted Dalton Schultz, because he literally isn't going to see no burn. I'm pretty sure Brevin Jordan saw more snaps than he did, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Schultz, figure out how to block, buddy.
Yeah, right. 13 is where I have MHJ. I think he's gonna bounce back. I talked about the stat line earlier in the episode. He'll get right. 12. I'm gonna switch this in mid-episode. 12 is gonna be Drake London. 11 is gonna be Mike Evans. I cannot disrespect Mike Evans like that, and it's honestly bad enough that I kept him outside the top 10. There's a pair of wide receivers from the same team that cracked that top 10. I'm sure that you guys might be able to insinuate who that's going to be, but all really great plays. From 14 on, I feel good about Diggs. I feel good about a lot of these guys on the list.
All right, well, let's make you happy right off the bat here. We're going to go Neighbors at 20.
Okay.
I think that Neighbors can get 15 points this week. Simple as that. I think that they're going to want to get the passing game active.
Please.
Hot take here.
Please.
The Giants might throw an offensive touchdown this weekend.
Oh, hot take.
Fucking take.
I'm fucking
They
sweating.
might throw it. You might see like a 6 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown out of Malik Neighbors this week.
Neighbors should throw it to himself.
He should run the Wildcat with Neighbors the whole time.
Two neighbors.
Yep.
The neighbors will approve.
So at 20, I have Neighbors. At 19, I'm going with a rookie as well. I'm going Lad McConkey, though.
Oh, he
think against
good.
Carolina, he can expose him, dude. He can. He's a good player. I'm also going to go with Jameson Williams at 18.
Wow.
So we're getting him in there. 17, I know I said I'd leave him out because I did 15 like an idiot. Yeah. I'm going Zay at 17.
Okay.
Think he's going to get involved. Think he's going to get some catches. 16, Michael
Diggs?
Pittman Jr.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Pittman here at 16. I don't think he's in the top 10, but I think Richardson found his way to get the ball to Alec Pierce last week. I think he's going to find his way to get the ball to Michael Pittman this week, especially against Green Bay. I think you're going to see some plays with Pittman lining up in the slot, catching those balls over the middle. So I'm going to go with Pittman there at 16. 15, I'm going Terry. I think Terry is going to get targeted a lot. I think you're going to see on the first drive he has 3 targets from Jaden Daniels right away. They want to get him involved. They want to keep him happy. They paid him. Get him involved. Get Jaden Daniels comfortable with your main target. 14, I'm going DJ Moore. I know I didn't see a lot out of Caleb Williams, but I think they're going to scheme around what they know they can do now, and that's just throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. And when you're throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage, DJ Moore is going to be the receiver you do.
Keenan had 11 targets, though.
I know. But if you're going behind the line of scrimmage, like, would you rather throw to Keenan or would you rather throw to DJ Moore? And let
no, but like that's my thing. Like I was actually. I was shocked that like when they were down the field routes that it was to Keenan, and when it was at the line of scrimmage it was to DJ, because I didn't think that. And like Odunze definitely struck me as like the long ball guy, but I feel like all 3 of them have pretty solid skill sets to do it all.
They do. It's just once Caleb gets cooking, if he gets cooking, that can be a dangerous offense, but we got to see it. I am going to go with DJ because I also think he's going to be a factor in the run game, possibly with reverses and stuff like that. Speaking of getting involved in the run game, I'm going Jaden Reed at 13. I know Love's out. I know he's out, but they find ways to get him the ball very uniquely, and he scores when he gets it. He's good at making guys miss. For some reason, when he's one-on-one, he can literally just put his foot in the ground, let a defender go by, and waltz on in. He's good like that. Yeah. Super talented player. I'm putting him on this list until he shows me he doesn't have one of those weeks. 12, I got Ayuk. There's another guy in here above him. No Ayuk. So he's not the duo. Oh, I know
not the duo.
I think I know who the duo is then. It's got to be the other.
NFC.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know. 11, Nico.
Do you know?
I think so.
11, Nico.
11, Nico.
It's okay.
I think he's going to score this
I
week.
think it's a little low.
You think it's a little low? All right. I like to hear that, but I'm going to go 11, Nico. I'm looking at the 10 names I got above him, and I see some big weeks, and I also got at least one player from a Thursday night game.
Okay. What's the pair that you're thinking?
I'm thinking you're going Devonta and AJ.
Okay. Devonta Smith here at 10.
Yeah.
Bro, if you want to give AJ the long balls and, the big play touchdowns, that's fine. Devonta's going to slice you up. Slice, dice, 7-8 catches in the middle of the field. I'm fine with it. My PPR leagues that I have him in, I got 15 points out of him without a touchdown. I'm cool with that.
Bro has glue on his hands.
Yeah, he ain't dropping shit. He ain't dropping shit. Should have been a Giant, but I'm still not over that. 9 is where I have Debo. We talked about the increased usage. He's going to touch the ball probably 12 times a game until CMC is back, and he's hard to take down. Dude got in the end zone. Had him to score last night, so love that for me. Just wasn't enough units. At 8, this is where I have Nico Collins, so a little bit low, but nothing too crazy. Definitely a higher spot inside the top 10. This dude's going to catch 1,400 yards this year. Like, no doubt in my mind. He's going to have a great season. Sunday Night Football, excited for that. 7 is where I have AJ, so only a couple spots higher than Devonta Smith.
Sure.
The same rationale that I talked about with Gibbs and Monty. You take the value, you can't be disappointed. You know what I mean? So I didn't get AJ in any of my leagues. I'm fine with getting Devonta Smith in the 5th round, which is way too late for a guy like that.
Versus AJ going 1 and 2.
All day long. 6 is where I have him on Raw. A little disappointing from his performance. I'm not going to lie. Definitely expect him to catch the ball at least 6 times a game. This is usually a dude that balls out at home, too, averaging over 85 yards a game inside of a dome. So, like I said, a little disappointed there. 5, Jamar Chase. I do think that there's going to be touchdowns scored in this game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think that Joe Burrow needs to force-feed him. I don't care if he's double-teamed, get him the ball, bro. And, you see that he makes magic happen. Get the ball in your playmaker's hands and let it happen.
Because you just know they have the number already. They're just holding on to it for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 is where I have Garrett Wilson. I think we saw enough to know that this dude's going to be a top 5 wide receiver throughout the year. Didn't get the yardage number that we thought he was going to get after the first couple of drives, but it's all good. Just be patient. As long as they're healthy, it'll work out. 3 is where I have JJ. Looked great. He looked great. 2 is where I have Cooper Kupp, and you like that?
I do.
You got it at 1.
You'll see.
Okay. Bro, with 21 targets, I'll take that all day long. And 1 is CD going against New Orleans, so CD's gonna catch 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, against New Orleans. Dude, who the fuck's covering him?
Lattimore.
Yeah, good luck, buddy. It's just another year under your belt.
Yeah.
10, I got Rashee Rice. I think what we saw last Thursday from him, that's the staple. Every single game, you're going to see Rashee Rice getting his 7 catches, getting his 100 yards, occasionally in the end zone. That'll happen this week. At number 9, we're going A.J. Brown, just 2 spots below where you had him. I think he just gets involved. I think he's a really good player, and I think he's their deep threat, and I think you can expose Atlanta a little bit on the deep ball. So
I'm interested to see where Terrell's going to play and what the safety scheme is going to be
I
on
think
those
Terrell
guys.
stays on one side.
Think
and
so?
I think so. I think he's just going to lock down one side for the game, and I think they're going to have Jesse Bates on the other side of the field. Again, not playing the corner, but playing the safety as the lookout for the other side of the field. So I'm going AJ here at 9. Jetta's at 8. Super impressive. But yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest assignment going up against San Fran. We saw that last night. You can scheme open against them, but I just think they're going to be in situations where San Fran's going to have the ball a lot of this game. They're milking the clock. And I think San Fran gets the better of Minnesota. We saw some really good stuff out of Minnesota. I want to see Darnold do it again before I start putting JJ in the top 5. 7, Amon-Ra. I think they make it a point in practice and in the game. He's getting the ball 10 times. Yes, 10 targets at least. So Amon-Ra is going to get the ball. He's at 7. 6, I got Debo. With CMC out, you got to take into account this guy is back there running the football again at times. So just due to the sheer volume and the ability to score on a Minnesota defense, I'm going to go with Debo at 6. Mike Evans at 5.
Love it.
Mike Evans is going to get 1,000 yards again this year. He's going to have 8 touchdowns again this year. And Detroit, he's going to beat some of these rookies. He's going to make some of these rookie corners look bad this week. I'm going to say that. I might go on a whim and say that Tampa might get this game against Detroit this week.
I'll save it.
Busted the parlay for Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you really did.
For Jamar Chase. Get him involved early, often, and Jamar Chase eats when he plays the Chiefs. 3 CD. Might be a little low, but like 3, we're talking about another 27-point performance. So it's CD, he's here. Tyreek at 2, Cooper Kupp at 1.
All right, cool. I'm glad that we were on the same page there.
Would Tyreek be your 1 over Cooper Kupp? Or would Tyreek be over CD and Cooper Kupp for you this week?
Tyreek, it would be a really tough conversation. I would have to sit on it. I
know, I was gonna say. You'll see me just start grinning when you say that.
I'll have to figure it out. I don't do Thursday, so it's not a problem that I really have to deal with. I know we're getting close to time, so I want to run through some kickers and defenses. I only have a couple. I really like Dallas and Seattle's defense this week going against the Saints and the Patriots. And kickers, Aubrey, Fairbairn, Moody. I mean, Moody 1 week, so there's no reason why you should be taking him out of your lineup. And if he's on your waivers, like, go put a claim in. Kickers can win your weeks too. And then, bets that I want to talk about for the week. I like the Cowboys minus the points. I really do. Like, I think they're going to beat the Saints by more than 7. It's 6.5. I like the Packers plus 3. I'm taking the Giants and Arizona money line too. I am.
I don't know if I'm taking Arizona's money line. I do think that an Arizona and Rams game is destined to go over. I think the first half's going to be shit.
Bro, Arizona's they're favored in the game.
They're favored against the Rams.
It's weird, bro.
I'm taking the Rams points then.
Yeah,
or I might just stick with an over under that game. I like that game to end up scoring points. Do you know what it's at? Because usually the divisional games they put it like 44, 45.
The spread. I want to say the spread's 2. And Arizona was -2, bro. That's what I'm saying. I don't like that.
What's Vegas chefing over there?
Yeah, but that's something that I need to know.
I know.
Carolina's going to get smoked every week. Bet against them.
I think the Ravens are going to just make a point this week. I think they're going to win by 20 against Vegas, sadly. And you know how on Vegas I was so far.
Yeah.
I think the Bills take care of Miami this week, though.
Okay.
I'll be real. I think on Thursday night the Bills are going to take care of business.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think Miami's going to give them a hell of a game, bro. I really do.
Dude, I think
it's
they might
Buffalo
too,
Bills-esque to drop this game, go on a skid, and go on a historic run at the end of the season.
I'm not on Miami, man.
I know, but you said it earlier in the episode. They'll win the early games.
I know.
This is in Miami, no?
Yep. But Thursday night, a lot of eyes on him.
Bro, Tyreek Hill was in cuffs and still made it happen.
I know. But they didn't have it against the Jags, and we're not overly high on the Jags, even though after that performance last week, I do think they're better than I thought they were going to be.
No, for sure. I know you gave them 6 wins.
I know. Yeah. Fuck's good, man. We're going to do this closer to the season. Yeah. So when I change my mind 16 times, we get the final one locked in at the end. Who's Cleveland got this week?
Cleveland is going against the Jags.
That's a fucking messy game.
Yeah.
God, that's got to be like a 37-point over-under, something
like that. Oh, my God. Under.
Yeah, I think so, too. And I think Pats and Seahawks going to be under 38. I think that's the number to make. But I do think that the Pats can cover if it's like a 4-point spread or something like that. But I think this game is defense written all over it. I think Seattle's going to get the best of the Patriots, sadly.
For sure. Since the Sandbox fans, these are the Week 2 rankings. We gave you a little bit of extra. Always expect the extra when we're giving you once a week. Your questions, your fantasy questions, remember, ask those questions in our episode description. Go over on Instagram and send us a message. We're going to give you bets every week. We're going to give you the injury updates from the knowledge that we're aware of and the waiver wire guys, because I thought it was a shitty waiver wire week, honestly, for week 1.
Likely, I dropped a bag on Likely, so we'll see if that works.
Yeah.
My other tight end's Brock Bowers, so I'm dropping that bag, and then I'm going to try and fucking trade for something.
Flip one of them. But no, real excited. You guys can expect the picks on Thursday. Twan, do you want to give an update?
7-9 for Steve to start the season. 8-8 for myself, so I'm up 1 game. I'm getting cold though because I went like 6-2 through 1 o'clock, and then all of a sudden 4 o'clock rolled around and the night game rolled around.
Well,
and I lost both of them.
We both had the Panthers and the Giants.
Yep.
And then we split. I had the Niners. You had the Jets. Yeah, those were like the big differences.
Yeah.
We both took the Browns.
Somehow. I don't know how I did the Bears.
Yeah. I honestly felt good about the Titans. I really did. Yeah.
That was one bet that if I hit that, I would have had another very green day on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, we can have a green day this Sunday after the wedding. We're celebrating Uncle Tony's wedding this weekend. Real excited. My birthday's tomorrow. We're amped up. It's a good time. It's September. Let's go.
And dare I say, Saturday night, Sugar Sean by knockout. It's coming.
Yo, we'll talk about it off here. Guys, let us know. Best of luck this week. Win some money. You know the deal. Peace, love, 5 stars, nothing less.